What up? Welcome to my channel. Today I'll be covering Season 2, Episode 8 of BMF. If you like the video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. All right, the first scene starts out with Meech reminiscing on how far they've came. Since the drought's now over, Terry and Meech are now flushed. Terry wanted both of them to stay focused because the stakes are high for mistakes and they didn't want another driver getting arrested. Terry, he took this as an opportunity to remind Meech that B. Mickey is a snitch. Meech, he got an attitude and said that B. Mickey didn't snitch. At this point, no one has seen or heard from B. Mickey in days. My thoughts on this scene. One thing about Meech for sure is that he would ride for B. Mickey. They really have a strong bond. I really want to know the backstory of why B. Mickey and Terry don't like each other. We do know that it dates back to elementary. All right, next scene. Meech figured out a way to use the car wash to pack cars and clean money. The business isn't in their names, so he figured it wouldn't be connected back to him. My quick thought, if the police follow the people they are targeting, they could assume something is up at the car wash, but then again, I haven't seen them watching the record store other than the sting would be Mickey. So we'll see about that. Back to the story. So now they own a record store and a car wash. The new way of conducting business is by using car doors to load and unload cash and drugs. The money goes to the stash house where the money will be counted. Hand counted. According to the streets, Hoop heard that K9 got arrested by the feds outside of LA. If this is true, Terry assumed the feds have been watching K9 for a while and they could be onto them as well. Meech didn't care and he wanted to continue the expansion. Since K9's off the grid, Meech knew more people would need more supply. Meech's plan is to outsmart the police and take over the nation. My thought on this scene is that Meech is on some turn down for what type ish. I guess he say the police gonna have to catch him. All right, next scene. Sterling, Knuckles, and some others are playing dominoes at the table. Sterling asks Meech if he heard about K9 being arrested. Being the businessman that Meech is, he saw K9's problem as his opportunity, and he planned to make this a win-win situation for everybody. Meech needed to talk to Sterling privately. My quick thoughts is that Sterling is just, he keeps showing up. I guess he's just 10 toes down for Meech, huh? All right, next scene. Meech is about to head out to Ohio to holler at Stone, who he knew through his Jerry curl cousin James
Follow the drift.
about conducting business there. Terry couldn't figure out how Meech was going to move work in Ohio if they didn't have drivers in Detroit. Since Meech, Roland, and a few PAs are going to Ohio, Terry didn't have to worry about that part. All Meech needed Terry to do was get drivers and cars. Then they have their typical brother spat per usual. And my thought on this is that I swear Meech cracks me up with those Terry lines. He called Terry a tender dick later on in the episode. All right, next scene. We learned that Commander Mars or Beckwith was transferred and Major Damon Garr is replacing her.
And somehow this task force has allowed theft and violent crimes to escalate during a fucking drug drought, which means my ass is on the line.
Garr informed everyone of K9 being arrested on possession of a Schedule II controlled substance with intent to distribute cocaine, 50 kilos outside of LA. Detective Bryant knew that K9's arrest would create a power vacuum that would bring more wars and more bodies. Garr is aware of the events that would occur from K9 being arrested, so he's coordinating with the local DEA, and none of the police officers there are happy with that decision. All right, next scene. Meech took Roland with him this time to speak with Stone. Meech let Stone know that he has a Colombian Connect, which means his product is the purest and cheapest, and he wanted Stone to set up a meet with Bleak so that he could offer him a business opportunity. All right, next scene. Jen told Brian she had a nice time at the house and meeting his son, Kevin. Then they saw Major Garr and Special Agent Tracy Chambers on the hallway talking. Garr wished to partner with Agent Chambers in the K9 investigation, but she declined. My quick thought on this scene, is that Detective Bryant and Special Agent Chambers arrested Terry in St. Louis in 2005. So either Detective Bryant joined the DEA or they worked together after all. All right, next scene. Markisha's hanging out with some ladies at the table and Terry joined them. Markisha let Terry know that Boom and some other men were in the back, more than likely messing around with other women. Terry stopped by to send word to Boom that he has a Colombian connect and it would be in his best interest to work with him because Boom wouldn't be able to compete with the prices or quantity. Markisha asked if he was a supplier now instead of a buyer. Terry said he was, and Boom could either roll with them or get rolled over. Terry gave Markisha the money that he owed Boom, and he was getting ready to leave, and Markisha now refers to Terry as a boss. All right, next scene. Meech is back at Bleak's spot, but this time he has some people with him. Meech checked Bleak's security and showed him the steal. My quick thought is that I guess Meech is like, this ain't gonna be like last time, referring to the incident that he had with Terrell. But back to the story. Bleak said Stone told him about Meech's little idea. And Meech let it be known ain't nothing little about him or his ideas. Then he stated he has a big supply. After several attempts to do business with Bleak, Meech respected his decision to decline. Before leaving, Meech said he does respect territories, but he can't control customers crossing the border once Stone flooded the hood. All right, next scene. Calix is the guy that Jen rescued from the house fire, and Auntie Rose is Saki's aunt, and they are looking to make extra cash by driving for the organization. Terry gave them a rundown as to what not to do when driving the car. Rule number 1, don't take any keys, pens, matchboxes, or receipts from any hotel that you stayed. Step 2, if you stop to get gas, do not wear any jewelry and do not pull out a wad of cash. Step 3, when driving, always keep your seat straight up. Step 4, don't get don't keep anything in the car, such as no trash, gum wrappers, or pee in a bottle. Pee in a bottle signals to the police that there is something valuable in the car, or shall I say, so valuable in the car that you couldn't stop to go to the restroom. And that also triggers an automatic search of the car, and nobody wants that. I also wanted to add after Saki's shooting, Calix was the guy who talked to Hoop, but he didn't have time to talk to him. So I assume this driving position must have been why he tried to get in contact with Calix. All right, next scene. Lamar put Blackie's urn on top of Monique's mantle. He can't wait until the day that Zoe comes back home so that everybody that he loves is all under the same roof. And I'm thinking, how long did Lamar know Blackie? Oh my God. Anyway, Monique, she knew how much Blackie meant to Lamar, and she had something that'll help him feel better. But it wasn't her Tussie Cat. She wanted them to have a good time doing the drugs like they used to back in the day. And Lamar was with it. So I'm just thinking, girl, this plan better work. All right, next scene. Meech, Roland, and Stone are watching Stone's people sell drugs at one of the spots. They're doing so well, Meech predicted they would sell out again at all the locations. Bleak's people then pulled up and they fought Stone's people. Stone ran to go help while Meech and Roland sat there smoking. To break up the fight, Meech shot his weapon, but that wasn't good enough for Stone, who wanted them to be shot. Because bodies are bad for business, Meech wasn't about to shoot or unalive anybody. Bleak's men were mad. All of their customers were being stolen by Stone. You don't figure, right? Meech gave Bleak the opportunity to get down, but Bleak's ego got in the way. Meech gave them a choice to either eat out of the palm of Bleak's hand or to be shown how to be a boss. Meech is the type of person that's going to always look out for his people and make sure that everybody is getting paid. All right, next scene. Mabel walked her loose booty ass in the house as soon as Charles opened the door. This holding got real comfortable, child. Anyway,
These hoes ain't got no manners.
she came in to borrow Lucille's skillet and headed straight to the kitchen like she owned the place. Lucille's upstairs taking a shower, and Charles reminded her that Meech saw them at the strip club the other night and thought it was a bad idea for her to be at the house. You don't say, Charles. Anyway, Mabel didn't finish her statement, but I believe she didn't think that Meech was the type to snitch. Whether Meech snitched or not wasn't Charles's point. He wasn't trying to get caught. Mabel's polluted puss got wetter knowing Lucille was upstairs and they were risking being caught. She touches all on Charles. See, baby, you're my little secret. Charles suggested that they rent a room and stated that she shouldn't show up unannounced, aka means stay in your lane, ho. Anyway, Mabel liked the idea of going to the Easy Rest Hotel with the vibrating beds so that she could put her mouth on them. Charles liked that. Just when I thought they were going to get caught, Charles handed Mabel the skillet when Lucille walked in the kitchen. So I'm thinking maybe the stairs might have made some type of noise that cued them to stop. But anyway, Lucille was happy to see Mabel, and she said, I thought I heard your voice. And I'm thinking, exactly what did you hear, Lucille? Maybe she heard her voice, but she couldn't make out the words. They got to be what it is. Because other than that, they'd be fighting in that kitchen. Anyway, according to Mabel, she hasn't seen Lucille in a while since she's been working so much. And I'm thinking, I know, girl, because she's been working the hell out of Charles. Anyway, Lucille offered Mabel some tea. Mabel looked at Charles and said, I'd love some. All right, next scene. Detective Bryant wasn't giving the DEA all of his case files. He kept the BMF files of his investigation. Jen, she inquired about B. Mickey's whereabouts, but Detective Bryant hasn't seen B. Mickey since the Wire incident. Jen knew all of the major players except for Hoop, but according to Bryant, Hoop's been with Terry and Meech since the 50 Boy days, but nothing else is known. Jen will do a deep dive and find out more information on Hoop. Interesting. My thoughts regarding this scene. Will they find out if Hoop is doing something on the side of BMF? I still haven't forgotten about the Dink situation with the bad drugs. I could see the police finding out about it and using that info against Hoop in order to make an attempt to bring down BMF. Will Hoop become the new B. Mickey? I don't know. Hoop, you a danger boy. All right, next scene. Curly wants to be a part of BMF. I don't know whose little bro he is. He's possibly Hoop's, but that was never confirmed. But the kid does look up to Terry. Terry needed Curly's assistance stashing the bricks with his small hands into the cars. To throw the dogs off the drugs, they used ghost peppers, garlic, lemon, cayenne, and vinegar, which are horrible odors to dogs. Curly suggested using a golf club instead of his hands, but that runs the risk of puncturing the drugs. Hoop insisted that Curly do it the way that he told him to, and if he was serious about being in BMF, he needs to show it. My quick thought of this scene is I know y'all didn't show this scene for nothing. What's going to happen to either Curly or Hoop? All right, next scene. Well, looky here. Look who has a change of heart and came back for another chance. Meek knew that Bleak would be back. Bleak didn't realize how good of an offer Meech had until his crew left him and went with Stone. Meech warned him. Bleak, he wanted to know if Meech's offer was still good. Meech said the answer is no if he had intentions on messing up his business. Bleak said that he didn't send his former crew over to fight them. Meech, he believed that Bleak's action was the cause of it, and he told him that. In order to be down, Bleak had to be a team player instead of being selfish. Bleak realized Meech's plan is a good one. So Meech decided to offer him a seat at the table. All right, next scene. Monique and Lamar are getting high together. Lamar questioned why he loses everything that he loves. And I'm assuming this maybe consists of his mom and Blackie, his dog. I don't know who else. But anyway, Monique said that he didn't lose her. And then they started kissing. And according to Monique, Lamar was the first guy to make her feel beautiful. Monique said everybody in the neighborhood was demanding Lamar's attention, but he only gave it to her. And when he went away, Monique felt like Zoe lost her father and that she lost the only man she ever loved. Like, ooh, girl, you over here laying it on thick, mama. Lamar's mom believed that a bath and a nap could fix anything. Monique, she laughed and told Lamar that she was not about to wash his ass. Lamar, he went into the bathroom and ran some bath water. Monique, she got up and then she left the bathroom door ajar. She went into her nightstand to get the strap. And I'm thinking to myself, I mean, did you look to see if the strap was loaded? I mean, Lamar is not a fool. He could be suspicious in watching her as well. He knows that people are after him first and foremost, right? It wouldn't surprise me if he unloaded the strap and if she tried to shoot, it would be empty. I don't know. That's just a thought that came to my mind. Be careful, Monique. Anyway, Lamar called her in the bathroom. Monique, she's frustrated at this particular time because she can't go through with the smurder. She eventually decided to go into the bathroom with Lamar. And another quick thought of mine is I'm assuming Lamar's willy is back popping again, and Monique actually went in there to give him a taste to take one for the team. They are very thick people. I don't know if their big asses can actually fit in that tub together, or maybe they just gave each other a bath one on one. All right, next scene. Terry and Meech give each other updates since Meech's trip to Ohio, where he crowned two Ohio kings. Since K9 got arrested, there are a lot of people needing product. Duke, he won't be driving for him anymore, but Terry did hire two new drivers. Markisha called while Meech and Terry were talking. She invited him to dinner and she promised to wear something sexy. Damn. My quick thought on that is Mark, he don't know where Boom is. Like, what Boom be doing? He don't know where his wife be. She is so comfortable going out on these dates with his child. Maybe they going out on the other side of town. I don't know. Anyway, Meech wants Terry to stop messing around with Markisha and her poisonous puss. And Terry, who's young and dumb, he's declining Meech's advice because he has two baby mamas. I don't know what they got to do with anything. But anyway, Meech, he doesn't trust Markisha, and Terry wants Meech to focus on B. Mickey instead of Markisha. All right, next scene. Markisha and Terry are on a date, and Terry's surprise from her is her being naked under the coat. So they went to the bathroom together where she put her poisonous auntie puss on him. My quick thought about this scene is she got Terry right where she wants him, eating out of the palm of her hands. She really got that she got that whip appeal, baby. All right, next scene. Meech comes to the house with gifts for Lucille and Nicole for the skating party. They love the gifts, but Lucille was sure that Charles wouldn't approve. I'm like, girl, just do you. Anyway, Meech, he told Lucille Pops is his own man and she's her own woman. Meech wanted Lucille to let her hair down sometimes and do something for herself. Lucille, she then changed her mind and decided to wear the cute outfit.
Cute.
My thought on this scene, I'm really surprised Lucille accepted the gifts Meech bought with his drug money. I do wonder if Meech did this as a way to make his mom feel happy since he knows that his dad is cheating on her. All right, next scene. Terry took Markisha shopping and bought her everything because she looked good in it. And all I'm thinking is Markisha is using what she got to get what she wants. Anyway, Al works at the store and he noticed immediately that Terry has come up because he's not doing layaway anymore. Terry, he remembered when he and Meech didn't have any money and Al would always take care of him. So my quick thoughts on that is there goes Terry with that wad of cash. You know, according to Terry's rules, you're not supposed to have that. I don't know if that doesn't apply to this situation or not. But anyway, I don't know if that's a good thing, but I do hope he doesn't call the police or he may just like making a sale. It may be that simple. So Auntie came to put the rest of her clothes on the counter so Terry could buy them for her. She's all smiling and saying, "Thank you, baby." Then she requested that he does something for her. And I'm thinking, girl, he buying you all these clothes and I know they're not cheap. Hasn't he done enough? All right, next scene. So they do the nasty again, and he sweated out her hair. Markisha started talking about how she likes the sex, and she told him that he's a boss now and that he needed to act like one. She told him to get rid of the childish hairstyle. Terry started having doubts about that. Then she asked him if he trusted her. So then he decided to let her cut his hair off, I guess as a way to show her that he trusts her. Markisha, she did exactly that. She cut that hair off. And now she told him that he's his own man. My thoughts on this scene. It's funny about how Terry is his own man now. Meech, he just said the same thing to Lucille about her being her own woman and Charles being his own man. And it's also funny that, Terry's a man now when he was just a kid the other day when they were in the car talking. Girl, make up your mind. Anyway, this is the beginning of the split between the brothers, as far as I'm concerned. Markisha and Meech, I don't think they're ever going to get along. I know Meech, he cannot stand her and he does not trust her. And how can you trust somebody that's already in a relationship with somebody else to be good to you? It just don't work like that. But Terry, he's young, he's dumb, he's full of cum, and he's not going to figure out that he's being played, as far as I'm concerned. Markisha, she's very close to her goal of being with a man that's financially secure, that'll keep her in Gucci and gold. Right, next scene. Terry is enjoying himself, but he's not skating. Meech was happy to see Terry. Then he noticed quickly that Terry's rat tail was cut off. Lord, my thought on that real quick. I wonder if he thinks he's too cool, Terry, to be skating since he's a boss now. But anyway, so Terry says that he's switching things up with his hair, and Meech felt like this was high treason and that it had Markisha's name all over it. Meech then called Terry a tender dick ass ninja for being the softest ninja he's ever seen that's puss whoop. And then Lucille, she came over. And Meech, he asked about Charles. Was he coming over? Lucille said that she believes that Charles is at work. And Meech was like, "That's Pops, always working." So, Meech, you know exactly what's going on, baby. Too bad you won't tell your mama. All right, next scene. Look at Charles putting in work, but this time with Mabel. Charles is having problems with his stroke game in the vibrating bed and suggested that they put in another quarter. Mabel didn't think that was a problem. The problem is Charles isn't really there. Mabel suggested that they stop messing around, and Charles, he wanted to know why she felt that way. Mabel's been through this before. Her and her ex-husband, they used to be swingers. She was hurt that her husband continued to see other women that they had threesomes with. Charles was shocked about the threesomes. Mabel considers Lucille a friend and a neighbor, and they borrow stuff from each other all the time. They sure the hell do. My thought, Charles looked like he felt bad, but I don't know if it's because he knew he was doing his wife wrong or because they won't be sleeping together anymore, or a combination of both. Mabel thought it was best that she gives Charles back to Lucille. And Charles looked like he just kind of rolled his eyes. I guess he didn't want to go back to the reliable in-house Tussie Cat that he's used to. All right, next scene. Markisha's kids went to go get some snacks. LaWanda's about to put on her skates until she noticed that Trifling Terry is with Markisha. So she decided to go over there and hit Terry with her skates until Meech stopped her. Meech reminded LaWanda Terry does not have any sense, which is why he admired her for being the one. Meech said she's been A1 since day one and he appreciated her for that. LaWanda felt loyalty didn't mean anything to Terry, so she felt disrespected because he brought another woman there. Meech told LaWanda, even though they didn't always see eye to eye, She needed to make her own bed and stop depending on Terry because Terry has already made his. Meech promised that he would be there for her and the kids, and then he gave her a hug. He's being charismatic. All right, next scene. Lucille is skating alone, then Meech joined her for a hot second, then Cheating Charles cut in. My thought on this is that I wonder if he took a shower before he came. That smile on his face really bothers me. Who will Charles mess with next? Is it Sister Riley? Is it you, girl? But I don't think he's done with Mabel just yet. So Charles and Lucille look like they're having a really good time skating together. All right, next scene. Monique talked about how Zoe would have loved being at the skating rink. Meech, he wanted Monique to stick to the plan so that the kids could come home where they belong. Monique didn't need Meech telling her what to do because she could handle it herself. So my thought is, I mean, it just sounds like Meech is supporting Monique's plan, but I don't think he really felt he had a choice because she was going to do what she wanted to do anyway. So I just don't think that the plan is a good plan, but we'll see. All right, next scene. So the skating party is over, and Lucille is getting her and Charles's things so they could get ready to leave. She grabbed his jacket, and then something fell out of it. Lucille picked it up and discovered it was a receipt from a motel. Boy, oh boy, I tell you, there are many men who have gotten caught cheating because they left a receipt in their pockets. But anyway, unknowingly to Charles, he asked Foxy Mama to give him his jacket. She aggressively gave it to him, and Charles asked what was wrong with her. Lucille told him that he has a receipt from the Easy Z motel from that afternoon, and she called him a mofo. Although Charles got caught lying, he told Lucille he just started a job there at the motel. Lucille asked Charles a very good question. Why did he need to rent a room? But because Charles is a terrible liar, he said he accidentally grabbed the wrong receipt when he was cleaning up his tools. Charles, you don't need a receipt if you working, boo. Anyway, Lucille reminded Charles she was not dumb and asked who is the lady that he's sleeping with. Charles, he still didn't have a clue what she was talking about, and Lucille told him again to answer the question. Because they were causing a scene, Terry came over to find out what was going on, and Lucille told him that his father has been caught lying about cheating. Terry, of course, he is so shocked about this. Charles placed his hands on Terry's chest, and what I assume he was about to tell him to mind his own business. But Lucille, she told Charles to get his hands off of her son and to go back to the bed that he left. So Terry, Lucille, and Nicole, they left. My take on this scene, Meech, he didn't judge his dad, but he was there for him in his silence. If only Charles could actually treat Meech the way that Meech treats him, that would be great. Anyway, Charles, he went from no cats to one cat to two cats, and now he seems to be catless. So Lucille, she was out there cussing. So when the saved and sanctified, they start cussing, you better watch out. And you better believe Lucille is going to find out that Charles has been cheating with Mabel. I hope that she smells Mabel's perfume on Charles's jacket and recognize the smell when Mabel comes over there to comfort her about Charles cheating. Or maybe this will fall under one of Terry's don't do rules, and she leaves a pen or a matchbox out on the counter from the hotel, and Lucille, she sees it. That would be great too. Um, Now I'm wondering, will this low blow drive Lucille in the arms of another man, even if it's unintentionally? Lord, I hope it ain't Pastor Swift. All right, next scene. Detective Bryant and Jen are outside a house watching Hoop. I assume that this is Hoop's place and this is the address that Jen found for him. But anyway, we learned that Hoop has no priors outside of a sealed juvenile record. Jen let Bryant know that the kiss was a one-time deal. And Detective Bryant, he said, all right. And he smiled at Jen. And then now he's blushing. Anyway, I have a quick thought. Detective Bryant, I think he has a little crush on Jen. He may I think he likes her a little bit more than he did earlier after seeing her interact with Kevin. They really seemed to had a good time. But anyway, Hoop, he got in his car and he drove off, and they followed him to an unknown residence. So Jen's out there taking pictures. Brian, he's wondering whose house that Hoop is at, and Jen thinks that maybe it's one of his girlfriends. All right, a quick thought. I just don't understand how these people are just out here living life and they're not watching their surroundings. Hoop, we already know that Lamar's out here. He's been smurdering y'all, he's been robbing y'all, and you still not paying attention to not only him, but the police watching y'all. You know that K9 got busted and y'all could have been on their radar too. Anyway, a truck was leaving out of the garage, and as the truck drove off, Jen noticed that it has a veteran's bumper sticker on it. Jen couldn't recall Heath's file stating that he did a military stint. Since they thought that the vehicle was switched, well, they switched out vehicles from the car to the truck. They decided to go ahead and follow the truck. So for some reason, Lord, instead of continuing to follow the truck to where it was headed, they decided to pull it over. That's a genius idea. But to Jen's surprise, it's Calix, and Calix is the guy that she saved in the fire. So after Detective Brian asked, Calix stated that he owned the truck and he was crashing at his friend's place, whose name is Clarence. When Detective Bryant garnered Calix's info, he had Calix get out of the car. Calix is headed to Lansing to a veterans support meeting. After Calix mentioned Detective Bryant isn't supposed to be searching inside of his car, Bryant asks if he was hiding anything. And I'm like, dude, what he gonna say? Look under the bumper? That's stupid. Anyway, Calix let him know that he's not hiding anything and he was ready to go to his meeting. Bryant, he gave him back his information and Calix left. So the detectives look at this situation as a strike one. All right, next scene. LaWanda stopped by the police station to speak with Detective Bryant. She's been thinking about what Detective Bryant told her, and seeing those pics really pissed her off. And on top of that, she just seen Terry with the girl. So, Detective Bryant, he's happy that she came by and he assured her that she's doing the right thing by speaking with him. LaWanda, she isn't quite sure that she's doing the right thing, but shortly after, she started mumbling to herself, A1 since day one, A1 since day one, and detectives, they're confused, and then they asked her to speak up. LaWanda wanted the detectives to stay away from her and her family, and she stated that Terry's the father of her children, and she's not going to break that bond for nobody. She went on about the pics being fake, and then she left. Detective Jen, she's had it. She's over it basically. At this point, she was like strike two. And she said, Detective Brian, I need you to help me blow off some steam. And I'm going to take you up on that offer by cleaning these pipes. All right, next scene. So Detective Brian finally got a chance to get him some of that sweet and sour Asian puss. My opinions on this scene, this was kind of like watching your mom and your daddy do the nasty. I'm glad Detective Brian will be a little light on his feet these days. This is definitely going to lead to more egg rolling in the future. All right, next scene. Terry asked Meech about what they were going to do about Lucille finding out that Charles was cheating on him. Meech, he rolled his eyes and he counted his money. Based on Meech's reaction, Terry asked him if he knew the whole time. And Meech, he's annoyed and he feels that Terry is a hypocrite because he's sleeping with somebody's mother who is married. So Hoop comes in. He lets them know that Calix made the money drop, but Auntie got jacked. Aunt Rose, she got into a wreck with Alvin, who pretended that he was going to show her his registration. Then Lamar hopped out of the car. Lamar, he asked her, well, he told her to run the truck. And Auntie, she called him a mofo and then she punched him. Lamar, he pushed her down on the ground, and I'm glad that's all he did to her. But anyway, I don't know why, but he's shocked that Lamar's been watching them the whole time. And Terry's thinking that they need to switch things up. My quick thoughts on this scene. Terry, you're too smart to be acting dumb. Lamar's been smurdering y'all people, so obviously he's been following you all. Terry, he has the nerve to attempt to teach people what to look for when driving, but he doesn't seem to know when people's been following him either. And Auntie, she might be good at spotting the police, but she suck at spotting people who's looking to rob her. Back to the story. So Meech, he ain't switching up nothing. He thinks that he has a lead on Lamar, and Meech got a call and was getting ready to leave. But before Meech left, he planned to boycott Lamar and anyone who does business with him, and he wanted them to spread the word. All right, next scene. So B. Mickey's walking down the street, and Meech walked up on him and asked him where he been. B. Mickey said he's going to smurder Detective Bryant. Meech told him that he can't smurder the police. B. Mickey didn't feel that Detective Bryant was a cop. He told Meech that Detective Bryant put him in a trunk. He transferred his mom back to the subpar facility because he didn't bring Meech to him, and now his mom has passed. B. Mickey's ready to take Detective Bryant out. Meech, he said he wasn't going to let B. Mickey do that. Meech asked B. Mickey what did Detective Bryant have on him. B. Mickey didn't get rid of the strap from the smurders of J-Mo and Kato, and smurdering Detective Bryant would make things go away. If anything, Meech thought that B. Mickey would make things worse. Meech asked if Detective Bryant registered him as a CI. Since they met on the low, Meech believed that it was off the books and the straps not in the evidence room. So Meech had an idea. Since Detective Bryant's car wasn't at home, he told B. Mickey to go inside, get the strap, and make it look like a robbery. All right, next scene. After the sex, Jen and Detective Bryant agreed not to tell anyone about their sexual relations. Bryant noticed the burn marks on Jen's body. Jen deals with her sister's death and pressures of life by inflicting pain onto herself. Brian said we all got ish to bear, and he told her that he'll see her the next day. All right, next scene. So Kevin's at home alone when he heard a noise. He initially thought it was his dad, but his dad never said anything when he called for him. So Kevin went looking around the house, calling for his dad. Then B. Mickey snatched him up and locked him in the closet. So Kevin's hollering, trying to get out of the closet. B. Mickey, he's frantic. He's going all over Detective Bryant's house, having his fingerprints everywhere, looking for the weapon. He found the weapons case, but it seems to be screwed into the wood. So by this time, Detective Bryant, he's home and he's calling for Kevin. A few thoughts I have. Last episode, Brian had all of the power when he locked B. Mickey up in the trunk. By now, I assume Detective Bryant knows that B. Mickey is out of the trunk. Since B. Mickey was in his home and he put his son in the closet, Brian will strike back again. However, this goes, it's not going to go well, more than likely for B. Mickey, because we already know that Detective Bryant lived at least until 2005. Now out of Detective Bryant's house, B. Mickey is in an emotional wreck because he didn't have the strap. He told Meech somebody was in there and he had to restrain him. So once he saw the lockbox, Bryant showed up in the house. B. Mickey, he wished that he popped him as soon as he saw him. Detective Bryant didn't see him though. B. Mickey was panicking because he was wondering if Detective Bryant knows that it's him that was in his house. He knows he messed up and he doesn't have anybody. Meech then pulled the car over and let B. Mickey know he's his bro, he has his back forever, and he would never let anything happen to him. And then Meech drove off. All right, so older Terry has a narrative. Science tells us that the universe expanded because pressure, matter, and energy all pushed against each other. But like I said, I'm a man of faith. So if there was a big bang, that ish was preordained. Like how me and Meech were meant to push the limit, Bryant was about to push back. So bruh and we're going to have to gear up for battle. So I guess these boys at war. Interesting song choice at the end. The lyrics said, I ain't never getting out. So I don't know if that's for B. Mickey. Is that foreshadowing? I guess we'll wait and see. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful in some way. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons and turn on your notification for future uploads. Until the next video, see you when I see you.